So for those of you expecting to see the full Sonic Talk 263, I'm very sorry, but one of the files was corrupted, so I've only got this much, last 15-20 minutes. I hope that's okay. In the meantime, if you want to hear the podcast, you should be able to get to it via SoundCloud or via our pages here. Just check it out, the full version. But also, I wanted to put this part of the video out because we have a performance from Suzy Condrad, who is the Boss UK looping champion. She came into the studio last week, recorded a couple of songs, and also did an interview for us. That will be posted shortly. But in the meantime, here's Sonic Talk number 263. Enjoy.
I remember loads of occasions being in the situation where it'd be like, I can't do that. Oh, yes, you can, said the other guy, Yeah, go on, just go for it, try it. And it was always those little things that you kind of walked away from, sort of punch the air moments, really. If you could pull it off, otherwise you just went away and got pissed in embarrassment.
Let me see. So that was the Monopoly showcase by Alex Juno. Little angry and weird, I thought, but good. And one little trick on there that I didn't know about was the fact that if you turn the mod waveform so it's between two detents, you get this kind of really great, slightly distorted, weird waveform, which I must try. I've never tried that one, so I'm looking forward for checking it out. But do have a look online. Do a search on YouTube for Alex Juno. There's a whole bunch of stuff he does, and certainly the Poly 800 has got a real excellent flavour of that kind of slightly cheesy 80s vibe. But he seems to get the really I hesitate to use the word fat, but it sounds very authentic, doesn't it? And I wonder how they do that. I'd like to talk to them about it, perhaps.
I had this conversation with a producer in New York the other day who sent me links to some amazing stuff he's producing, and I think it's got this kind of buzzword. It's called the New York synth sound, but it's all that very kind of Talking Heads, Prophet 5, Sync, and very much those sounds that guy was using. What's his name again? Alex? What? Juno.
Alex Juno. Yeah.
Using a Korg for.
Excellent.
Name Juno.
Yeah, exactly. It all seems so wrong, doesn't it, somehow?
And yet, so right.
Let's see, we've got one more video to show, so I will play that right now. Spot the sample here. I know it, but I can't place it. Pink. Good call, Jim Darjo. I'm going to stop. But that was somebody called Riku, who is, if I go to the web, based in, I think they're based in Finland, and it just does kind of, that whole set was done in a hotel room as a final brief with just a kind of looked like Native Instruments machine, something going on an iPad. I've contacted them, and hopefully they're going to do a little sort of techno breakdown of what they use and what's been going on there. But it was such a kind of nice little live set with various different samples. And the, what did we say that was? The sample? I've immediately forgotten what it was. Pink. Yeah, so I suppose that was just about, no, that was probably 2000, not really 90s. And I just really quite enjoy that. And the fact that it's basically just set up on a coffee table in a hotel room kind of makes me think, oh, that's cool. Again, it comes down to, what's the minimum thing that you'd need to be able to do that? I mean, just the idea of like machine, I'm guessing there's a laptop involved there somewhere, and an iPad. It just seems like a pretty cool little setup.
Yeah, it was good. Reminded me of when we did the Fat Boy years ago. Chris and I, we were in some hotel, and I've got a feeling it was like way out in Burbank or somewhere like that, and we had a couple of laptops, and he just used it on Rebirth, and I put mine, put mine through the SC88 Pro sound canvas thing, and before we knew it, it was like about 3 in the morning. I think we'd done quite a lot of whiskey, and it was like one of those really good nights. I'm not really particularly melancholic on that, but I thought it was just one of those nights where we kind of looked up after about 4 hours and went, bloody hell, that was good, wasn't it? It really did remind me of that. But like I say, that's kind of what I do in my room quite a lot. It's just, right, everything on, go, see where it takes you.
I think there's. I wonder how much of that was improvised. I mean, it looked like there must have been a set of sounds and just kind of go. I don't know if I've got the nerve. Is that a different skill set? I mean, is this something that people are doing a little bit more with the ability to have all of these? Almost. I mean, it's kind of like almost like music concrete, Rich, isn't it? Right? I mean, that's the sort of way that it used to happen. With tapes and stuff, and you'd kind of perform the mix and the. If I'm right, am I barking up the right tree, or am I a mile off?
No, I think you're spot on there, Nick. I think it's a completely new form of expression and, shall we say, gear management. And I was pretty interested to see this guy working, and I wondered how long his back could possibly hold out working at that. No doubt. As I said in the chat room, after watching him do that for 8 minutes, I'm convinced it's an ad for the chiropractic industry. And then there was a discussion of which hotel he was in, and I said 4 out of 5 dubsteppers prefer the Hiltons. But anyway, it was a very interesting piece, and I love watching guys trying to make creative interest out of these things. Now, I think it's a challenge, and like any mostly improvisational performance art, it leads to a whole range of possible outcomes, some of which will be more desirable than others.
Sure.
No matter how good you are at it, you'll try.
I guess what we don't know is how many takes that took to get to that one. If you see what I mean. Was that the good one, or was that just the one-off? You just don't know this kind of stuff. I mean, it's the magic of video and television, isn't it? It enables you to
the
kind of
hotel room tour of Sweden, where they go from hotel room to hotel room.
Actually, hotel rooms in Sweden are great, from my recollection.
Oh yeah, love Sweden.
Yeah. But hopefully we're going to get a chance to see how he put that together and just sort of check it out. And so I'm looking forward to doing a little piece with that. I know, PJ, I mean, is that something, I'm guessing your instrument is probably, the piano, I'm guessing, for doing that kind of thing, for improvising ideas and getting a kind of stream of stuff down. Or because did you not buy Machine? Am I correct in assuming you did?
No, I do have Machine. No, I like doing things like this. I don't have a setup that's quite as compact as this guy does. Mine's kind of scattered about my room, but I am strongly considering putting something together like this because I've been doing more and more live performing over the last couple of years, and want to get into doing some things like this and sort of combining this sort of DJ concrete culture with jazz and neoclassicism and that kind of thing. So. Yeah, I really, really appreciate what this guy's doing. It looked to me like it's possible that he had Machine synced with Ableton Live, and he was using the iPad to drive live with clips. Right. Although that I'm not certain about that. And in terms of being accurate with the kind of thing that he's doing, it's pretty easy to hard quantize Machine, and so he's adding beats in over the glitchy underbeats that he has, and obviously Live has several quantizing options and that kind of thing. So I think you can make it as difficult or as simple as you want to, and it's all about preparing. It's all about pre-production.
Yeah, I know. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
One thing that did strike us, because when we had Suzy in on Friday, just watching her doing the performance, because she uses an RC 300, I think it's Boss Looper, the new big Boss looping system, but also switches kind of vocal sounds on VE20, I think it is. You'll have to watch the full thing, which will be going up fairly soon. But the speed with which she lays something down and then is immediately on top of it. It's not like I'm singing it, then I have to wait for a bar to orientate myself and kind of know when to come in. She's doing that multiple layers, and that was what really kind of blew my mind in terms of just the choreography and the speed of the speed of light, if you like, the speed of creativity that comes mouth, to technology to out, but while using technology at the same time. And to watch her, she's kind of doing this incredibly complicated dance routine with her feet to figure out, where the loops are coming in. I mean, I think one of the questions I asked her that was about, how do you feel after doing like a whole gig of doing this? And she said, I'm absolutely done in, because it's part of it's, one side of my head is doing the creative stuff, and the other side is has got to be totally focused on the kind of the IT management and the technology side, and it's really difficult because it splits you the whole time, and so you've really got to concentrate.
Did you ask her how often she practices an arrangement in a piece prior to taking it out in public or video? Because I watched several of her YouTube performances, and she's pretty incredible. It's pretty.
I asked her. I did actually ask her how she nails it. And she just said she just rehearses a lot. Rehearses all the time. So to make sure that she color codes things to make it second nature, so she doesn't have to think. So just makes it easy for her to work on. Sure. So that's incredible, and that will be coming up shortly. I'm going to play us out with the Little Bird tune that she recorded for us. So.
One thing that not to diminish in any way what's happening with loop artists, because I think that in and of itself is an entirely new iteration of this kind of style of performance that we're talking about, and a far more demanding one, in my opinion, than the thing we witnessed in this video. But one thing that lends a musician to probably being at ease with that process is the fact that they're looping over themselves. And so there's an inherent sense of timing and tune and melodic structure that they're intimately familiar with. And so I think it's more comfortable than, say, if you were to pass the hat around the room, several musicians looping and then playing on top of each other. That might take far more rehearsal. Depending on the musician.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, if you've ever watched Dub FX do his thing, I mean, it's amazing because he's just straight. I mean, it's almost like there's just a raw pipe out of his kind of creative glands into the outside world. There's no impediment, and the technology doesn't seem in any way to slow him down. And it's kind of, and he's an incredibly talented individual from that. There's some shots of him, and there was some other things recently. Native Instruments posted some stuff using the Tractor F1 controller, I think, which has sample pads and all this kind of thing. It's just, it's a whole, like you say, Rich. It's kind of like it's a whole new old genre, isn't it? But it's the enabling factor is the technology is allowing people to use. I mean, it's kind of mainstream because music concrete's always been kind of fairly abstract and arty. I can't think of that many people that are using it in terms of chart hits and popular stuff. I mean, there's a few bits and pieces, but not really kind of. But now it's kind of pretty much there, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay.
Well, and I was thinking between this and also the Monopoly video that the ability to sync things to tempo, particularly LFOs and other clock-driven events, has really opened up creativity for these people because things just work. It's almost hard to imagine a day when you had to think about how to make that happen. Yeah. And today, you can just basically set most devices to auto or MIDI on tempo, and it'll deduce musical subdivisions all on its own. And it plays very heavily into the kinds of things that people are doing these days.
That's always my biggest challenge when I turn everything on in the room and just go for it. That is the biggest challenge.
Is what, keeping the modulations and sync?
Yeah, or at least trying. Yeah.
Well, don't you remember? There's the. I think we went to see Schneider's Bureau at one of the music messes, and they just had a big red button, which had the clock, and so you hit it, and everything started, and you hit it again, and everything stopped, and it was all synced in. I can't remember what it was called, but it was just a brilliant idea. So they clocked the entire stand. I mean, all these various different boutique manufacturers would have their own little subdivisions of clock that they would work to, or multipliers or whatever. So, but it was still, coming down to the same ultimate tempo. Somebody had control of it.
Yeah. Unders uses a lot. Not the big button, but they had a device made by Kenton Electronics that allowed them to. That was the kind of main clock, and that allows them to come in and out at any particular bar position at any particular point. And that, because obviously everything they do is pretty much improvised, and that was the gizmo. That was the black box that made it possible.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
Well, and in 1983, I was using Dr. Click for this purpose with FSK.
Dr. Click?
Yeah, that you had to start from the beginning of the song.
Well, that's FSK.
Yeah, well,
that's not Dr. Click's fault.
Yeah.
But you could generate rhythmically controlled wave
Excuse
shapes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Ah, no, I didn't know that. I mean, there's, you know,
2 of them, by the way. You know,
was that?
independent, completely independent wave shape, timing, everything, based in the rhythm of what you're running in FSK.
It's just amazing. What was that? There was a drum click thing, wasn't there? What the hell was that? I can't remember what that was. It would follow the drummer. So it always got lost.
Yeah, I vaguely. Well, didn't the SRC AT used to be able to do that? You could take a click input and it would generate MIDI timecode or tempo information based on a click track. It was. I had one until quite recently. SRC AT is what we used to use for synchronization, and but honestly, it was so incredible. It was just so overspecified for what I needed it for. It was just, I never got to the bottom of it. But yeah, you could set it up so that it could take some sort of audio trigger and it would just generate and jam sync between those points, and you know that. Anyway, that's kind of a bit. That really is a blast of the past, isn't it? Back when things were never in time, eh? Gosh, can you remember that? Now everything's always in time, or at least if it's out of time, it's repeated out of time forever. Because that's
And
all
then the reliability of specific clocks. I can remember owning several workstations whose internal sequencers had clocks that drifted terribly. And
yes.
yeah, and so we would always sync everything to an Alesis MMT8 because it had a really stable clock, and it seemed to do a great job of just sort of driving everything down.
Yeah, they were mega though. I remember trying to. It was a cork thing. It was a little kind of. It was about the size of an iPad actually, but it was so loose and sloppy. It was unbelievable timing. It was like
wasn't that the Korg loose and sloppy?
loose and sloppy too. I think.
That's a great. Well, what we need is a door plug-in called Loose and Sloppy, don't we? So we can.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the marketing people having much of a field day with a title like that. But there's a slow title. Yeah, show title right there. Loose and
Through
Sloppy.
your delay compensation in real time, like it applies some sort of random modulation to your delay compensation.
It's basically an analogizer, but yeah. Right.
A little bit like adding sounds to cars, you know?
Yeah,
Guarantee all kinds of phase anomalies in your audio.
Yeah, guarantee it just to sound really rubbish.
And remind you of the old days.
Anyway, folks, I think it's probably time to say goodbye. Before we play us out with Suzy Condrad's first song from Suzy Condrad. If you want to see the full 2 songs and the interview piece, we did an interview, a song, another bit of interview, sort of gear breakdown, and showed us how it did, and another song. That will be up in a matter of days. Stay tuned. But I want to say, before Suzy Condrad plays us out, thank you very much, certainly for Mr. Dave Spears for coming down to show us Iris, and also for sticking around for the podcast and hopefully a pint.
No, thank you for putting up with me.
All right. And also, I want to say thank you very much to PJ Tracy, who is here in video. I'm so pleased, video. You've made the podcast complete now. Thank you very much indeed, PJ.
Thank you. And if I can, let me show you. I'll show you something. Tell me if you can see this. This is my most recent eBay purchase. See if I can get a shot of it there.
Ooh,
wow.
What's that? Is that a rack of Neve stuff?
That is a Chandler mini mixer. TG mini mixer.
That looks cute. I like those VU meters.
Oh no!
Oh, look, he's just Chandler's everywhere.
It's the 9-knob compressor.
Yes, it is.
2 of them.
Wow.
You bet. Yep.
So, which of those things are you going through to make this beautiful sound?
Oak. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, PJ, what are you driving these days?
I don't drive, Rich.
e-tron.
I take the bus. That's how I save my money.
PJ's driving an e-tron, isn't he? He made the sounds. That's why he's got all that lovely stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
PJ, thank you very much. Anyway, pjtracysound.com. Thank you very much. And we'll also say thank you to Rich Hilton from Hiltonius. Your speeding car, your hit-making vehicle, the hit taxi, is waiting to take you away. And thank you very much for joining us, Rich. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure, as always. I got to go downstairs and wake the guy who drives the Hitmobile.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's like a stretch limo, which has actually got like a little Ableton Live setup, so it doesn't waste any creative time. You can work on stuff at the... Great idea.
That's me programming beats all the way through the country roads of Connecticut.
Brilliant. Anyway, thank you very much. That was Sonic Talk number 263, and this is Suzy Condrad.
steady as a stone. No, don't try to dry your eyes. The sky is bound to break. Never wonder why. That's your mistake. Never lose the truth. It's underneath the skin. Feathers on the outside, clothes within. Every drop is planned. Land where it lands. Come and play. You deserve the rain. Never lose the truth. It's underneath the skin. Feathers on the outside, clothes within. Every drop is planned. Land where it lands. Come play. You deserve the rain. The rain,